Welcome back to Dirtbag Baseball Talk, everybody. Kirk along with Chris again, Verna from Florida. I don't even know the right person or way of saying it, Chris, or whatever, and ad associate of the rope trainer. We're all part of it, but we all believe in the rope trainer. So that's what we're doing here. And on the last episode, as you know, we talked about the importance of understanding how to use your whole body. Chris went through that with you and stuff like that. You understanding the accelerator muscles, the decelerator muscles in the arms, and the importance of making sure that they're activated properly and different things like that, and how the rope trainer can enhance that overall throwing development because of the reps that you can get in without needing people around there to play catch with, and without actually just throwing, and like Chris said, throwing incorrectly and continuing on instead of making corrections. So on this episode, as you know, we're going to be talking about it really for the pitcher's relationship. And Chris is going to be talking about, using the tether and whether he slides it into one of the side holes or the front. And he's going to show you 4-seam grip options. He's going to show you 2-seam grip options, and that all important thing that we talk about now, creating that spin rate and the importance of it. So Chris, great to have you back with us. Thanks for joining us again, buddy.
Great to be here, Kurt. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you got it. So I'm going to let you drive the bus, buddy.
Okay. So I think the first thing is, let's talk about spin. Let's talk about spin on the ball, because that's such a big thing right now. So if you the proper spin on the ball, you want the ball to come off your 2 fingers, index and middle finger. And what you have is when a young player is starting, they may not have the strength to throw it correctly. So the tendency is to throw to the side here, and they're not developing the muscles right. So it's really important that they start by just sitting there and just kind of throwing darts, just to get them to understand how that works. But the big thing is that you want them to be able to feel, pressure with their fingers. So a lot of times they'll start, like we talked about, was 3 fingers. So let's say with 3 fingers, and you want to throw it like this. So what you do is you have them close their eyes and have them do this and see where their pressure is. So if the ball's going like this, if they're throwing it like this, there's too much pressure on the outside. That's to the top side of the arm and to the back of the arm, which are all decelerating, not accelerating muscles. You want everything here. You want everything in here and in your chest, this area, all there, to throw it to accelerate forward. So what you do then is you have them pick a finger. So you start out the outside, see what it does. You start out with the middle finger, see what it does. If it goes this way or this way, the tendency is, if they're weak, they're still going to go this way. So then when they put their index finger on, if they do that with their index finger and it goes to the side, then we know they're really weak. So you're going to have to start with the rope and other strengthening exercises before you start to teach them how to throw. And the other thing is if it's not just teaching them how to throw. You got to. I know older players that don't understand this concept, or they don't understand how to get the spin. So when you put the index finger on, you see if the ball, if your arm goes in. This is called pronation. This is supination. Supination, you think of if you put a bowl of soup in your hand, that's supination, you're here. Pronation is the opposite. So you want to be able to pronate your hand as you're coming through like that. And what tendency is if you're doing this, you're putting undue pressure on your elbow. You're kind of going the elbow the opposite direction it wants to go. It should go this way. So the spin then, if this is like this, you're cutting the spin. If you're cutting the ball, it's a slider that's bad for an infielder. But for a pitcher, you're doing that. You're going to put a lot of pressure on your elbow, as opposed to having both fingers behind the ball, going like this and extending through the ball with both fingers, and it will just roll off that way. And so what I'm saying is, if you put pressure, if they're strong enough to have just 2 fingers on the ball, then you want to do each finger and see how their arm works. If they're using their index finger, the ball will go like this, that's what you want. So if they're not doing that, that means they're doing this way. That means they're not putting enough pressure on their index finger. So you want to get the spin to come this way, and the ball will roll off that way. So it's really important that they first feel that part. So now if they're doing everything right, they're coming off the spin and all, but when they go to throw a breaking pitch, they don't know how to snap it. They're kind of just, it's like a long, circular motion as opposed to just a quick snap with the wrist. So what we do is we have them, we'll put it in, let's see. We're gonna go.
And Chris is a righty, everybody. I'd be a lefty or whatever, but Chris is going to show you. So if you are a lefty out there, you just do the opposite of what Chris is showing you.
I have this set up on the outside of a four seam. So we're a four seam like this, but I'll stand up for this one. So you go on your back here like this. And as you're coming forward, you have it on the outside. So you're going to extend out. So I'll get this right here. So you're going to extend that, and then you're going to flip it, and you'll feel the rope take you through the motion that you're supposed to. So if you're coming like this and you're not real crisp, the rope will take you and flip it for you. So you feel what that's like, and you feel these muscles contracting here. And when you do that, and so you can keep doing this without hurting your arm. And that way you can learn how to properly hold on to the end. And, the breaking pitches you have to hold off as long as you can to get more of the downward spin on it.
I was glad you said that.
And the big thing is like with your changeup, you try to throw your changeup, your change, if you're doing a circle change like this, you want to throw it all the way out here. Well, with the rope, you can feel it all the way out here. You can feel the rope going out away from you. And that's how you know you get a late release, and that's what you want. So, but on the break, and then with the breaking pitches, if you want, that's a four seamer. If you want to do a two seamer, you go here. We can go. This thing. Kind of opposite. You see here, you're coming like this. So in other words, everything's on the outside, making you go this way. Now, if you're obviously a lefty, you want to flip it around and you're going that way, but it's always on the outside, taking you through, and that momentum is teaching you how to make it crisp. You don't want to make this a long little thing like this. You want to go like this and get it to snap. The quicker this snaps through, the better that you snapped off the pitch. And what it does, it just teaches you how to get those muscles to start working. If you can't really do it right, you have to go ahead and strengthen. You're going to need to do forearm exercises. They're going to be all directions. Let's see if I can get it right here.
Good. Yep.
Like this, you're going to be here, 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 side to side. You're going to have to do all those forearm exercises if you want to be able to throw a curveball. And the thing is, if you have somebody that can't do all those exercises, then don't be having them throw, breaking pitches, because it's just going to wreck their arm.
I'm glad you said that.
So basically, when you have it on the outside, it gives you the spin with a curveball, with the slider. It teaches you how to keep it tight, and that's really what you want. And you'll be able to understand by how the rope moves, how tight you're throwing it. So it gives you the right feedback. And you could do it. You could do it so many more times than if you're actually throwing. So that's why it's so great. You might do it 30, 40 times, and you could do it every day, as opposed to if you're going to throw off the mound, you may do that maybe 3 times a week. You can do the rope every day of the week and really learn how to get, your mechanics down.
Yeah. And while I've got you standing there, Chris, you made a really vital statement in the fact that, and this is where I think forever and ever, it's almost gotten disconnected when you start teaching breaking balls and stuff like that because of the lack of understanding of proper versus improper. And you're right. Most guys are back here, aren't they? And they're already starting to snap it off back here. Maybe you want to show them and just say no, that's not. Like you said, it's the last thing you want to create. The last thing you do that snap.
Right. The rope will let you know if you're snapping it over here, it's going to hit you in the arm. It's going to hit your body as you come through.
Yeah. And you've got really no snap to it back there, right?
Right. And you're on top of it. You have no acceleration behind the ball. Your ball is just going to spin. It's going to have a light spin, and that could be hit.
Yeah. So beware of that, dirtbags. Chris said that it's that extension. That's the other great thing about the rope trainer that we see as trainers and stuff like that on a person that kind of, I always say, alligator arms, that short extension out front. Instead of getting out there, the rope creates that naturally. But there again, like Chris is talking about with off speed pitches, it keeps you out there again, and then it lets you know, release now, instead of way early when it's just not healthy, and you'll feel it through your shoulder and your whole arm.
The other thing is, you got to remember, if you're throwing back here, you're probably got a weak tricep. If you're not out here, your tricep strength will be out here to allow you to do it. If you're throwing back here, it means you're not trying to use your tricep, which is not
Perfect.
good.
Great.
And the other thing is, you want to be able to throw from the same point. You want your fastball, curveball, slider, whatever it is, all to come, and especially the changeup, all to come from the same release point. So it's important that you work, that the rope allows you to learn each pitch and each release point so that you don't change that. The hitter has a much more difficult time picking up what pitch is going to be coming at them if it's the same release point.
Absolutely. And I know you talked about it briefly on the last one, well, like extensively in that, but again, I think this is valuable. If you haven't watched last episode, go back and watch it. Please watch it, because it sets up for this episode. But in the meantime, you just mentioned about the tricep and the importance of it. And you know, the last time you talked about the drills and maybe the extension of and how it activates the tricep, especially both acceleration and deceleration.
Right. If you think of the acceleration at this point of the elbow, where it's snapping the elbow forward, and you think of the other end, you know, where it originates, the tricep muscle back here, and that's the decelerating part, because it's proximity to the other rotator cuff muscles. So let's understand what rotator cuff muscles are. Those are the small muscles of the shoulder that pull the arm back into the shoulder joint. It holds it in the shoulder joint. And then the deltoid muscle on the outside, that takes your arm away from your body. So when you're coming back like this, you should be using your deltoid muscles, not your rotator cuff muscles. A lot of times when the guys come down here real low, they're using the rotator cuff muscles to pick their arm up and not their deltoid. So I do a series where I separate the deltoid from the supraspinatus. But the idea is that so the upper part of your tricep is with those decelerating muscles. So that helps. So the tricep up here is help decelerating your arm. At the other end, you're helping accelerating your arm. And like we said last time, I haven't met a pitcher yet that works the tricep muscles and works them hard. And you have to work on both ends. Like, so you have any type of bent exercise for your tricep, works this end. Any way of doing straight arm stuff works the tricep at the other end. And that's what a lot of guys don't do. I do it, if you can see, palm forward and palm back, and go all the way back in order to get the tricep muscle to get.
Yeah, you're right. The people just focus on curls, right? Whether they're bicep or tricep.
They're doing anything. They're doing and they think, well, I'm getting my triceps by benching. Yeah, that's not going to do it either.
That's another show and stuff like that, when we really break down and talk to you about what Chris does as well on the in his real job outside of the rope trainer and stuff like that. But it is valuable and great insight there. And I know you've been writing out already about getting Chris's brain and knowledge on just warm-ups and different protocols like that he'd recommend. And so we will follow up with Chris about that, because he's fantastic when it comes to that type of stuff, and really makes it simple and easy to understand as well, just like he has here with the rope trainer the last 2 episodes. And so, yeah.
But remember, we talked on the last episode, you know, as a pitcher, you throw off the mound for your job or for your sport. And so you need to work on the mound as much as you can. So the rope allows you to go on the mound every single day, because you're working your body, you're working your mechanics, you're trying to feel the mound with your body, with your feet. A lot of guys don't understand how the mound helps them throw. They kind of want to throw with their body. They want to muscle the ball up. You use the mound to your advantage. You throw harder just by understanding that. But we don't practice on the mound. We practice flat ground. And then maybe every once in a while do it. Every day I tell my guys, if you want to make a mechanical change, you better do it on the mound. I don't care if you can do it on flat ground. When you go to the mound, it's a whole different story. So you make those changes on the mound. You have to do it with the rope because you can do it every day. And it takes a lot of days in a row before you start doing things on a subconscious level. Because once you get in the game, conscious mind's gone. It's all about your subconscious. So you really takes, some people say it takes 21 days. I don't know if it takes 21 days, it takes 31 days, if it takes 17 days. I don't know. I just know it takes everyday type deal until you get it.
Yeah. Yeah, like we talked about a lot, right? It depends on the individual and stuff like that, their makeup and everything like that, and their dedication and seriousness to it. And we joke around about it because we understand it, but we do realize for all you amateur players and coaches and parents out there, that when we talk about learning to feel your body as you're doing these drills, learning to feel your body, it sounds simple, and it is simple, but you really got to, like Chris said, you have to be dedicated to that and allow yourself to feel that feels right, that feels good, that doesn't, why it feels good, why it doesn't feel good, and start to dive into that. And I think a lot of people, if they do that, Chris, can start to somewhat, not overall, but self-evaluate and self-correct.
Absolutely. I try to, the one thing I do with the athletes is try to become aware of their body in general. The more aware of your body you are, the better you can understand a problem happening before it becomes a problem. So you can really prevent things if you can be aware of your body. After I've worked with somebody for a while, they'll come into me, they'll tell me, hey, I got this, and this going on. When I first see them, they don't know what's going on unless it's hurting. But there's a lot of little signals, if you're aware of your body, that you can take care of before they become an injury.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and without putting you on the spot or whatever and stuff like that, but everybody knows now the connection with Chris Verna being the trainer for John Smoltz. How long did it take for that trust network to go? Right. It's not just come in and they see you and you're the man.
Right. It did take a while, but once it happened, he's the most aware of his body of any athlete I've ever worked with. And he taught me a lot of things as far as cause and effect. And so I knew that if he could feel it and if I did it, he would know it right away. So we knew if something was going to change right away. It was unfortunate for him because I would come in and he'd have a problem, and we worked so well together that we could eliminate the problem relatively quickly. So he would go the next day to the trainers, and they would think he was a hypochondriac. So it was unfortunate for John. But we had to solve a lot of those problems. But that's what hypersensitivity can have. You can know that, hey, something's going on. I need something. When most guys can't feel it, and they don't know it till it's a problem. Yeah. So that's a big difference in that awareness.
Yeah, for sure. And even though he's done his playing career or whatever, and that obviously he's, just won an Emmy or whatever, and that a couple of weeks back for #1 baseball broadcaster, and rightfully so and justifiable on that. You've talked to me a million times about how diligent he is now to that part of his craft and stuff like that. But you've continued on this journey now, and not just in keeping him healthy for being a broadcaster and a little bit of baseball here or there, maybe, or whatever, and that, but now in a golf setting as well.
Yeah, very much with the golf setting, because he has a few tournaments that he competes in. He competes on some of the senior tour events. And next week we go out to Lake Tahoe for the celebrity event.
Yeah. And I bring it up because it's relative to what we're saying right here, right? It's that diligence to himself to be the best he can be in whatever it is he's performing. At that time, it was being the best pitcher.
And it's amazing. His preparation is enormous for what he does for the broadcasts. And he may spend hours and hours and hours, researching and doing the work, but John put the work in. So, and he knows what it takes to be the best that he can be. And he knows how hard it is. You got to work hard to get that.
Yeah. So exactly, Dirtbag. So there you go. You've got professional trainer overall to many professional athletes. Chris Verna talking about how invaluable the rope trainer is. And now you've got a little understanding of how he's figured out how to use it even more efficiently and effectively for all players at all ages, to also being the trainer for John Smoltz, who then says, you know, after having the rope trainer and getting to use it, like you said, and we joke about, you know, I wish I had it back in my playing days, is what John said. But then he also instantly made the comment that, yeah, absolutely, without a doubt, this product, this training aid should be in the hands of every player from the pros to the minor league or to amateur baseball.
One of the other things, you know, we never talked about was, you know, when you're in a game and you're the pitcher, and you got a long inning where your guys are up there just smacking the ball, right? And they're scoring runs after runs. And now the inning's gone for, you know, more than 10 minutes. Now maybe it's 15, 20 minutes. They did a pitching change in there or something. And you're sitting on the bench, you know, you're just sitting there watching. It's really important that you don't wait too long. If your inning's going longer than normal, jump up, grab the rope, go through 5 or 6, you know, just full motion, just to keep your body going. Because the next time, you know, when you have to get out there on the mound, a lot of times that's when you give up runs. And so it's really important that you stay. I mean, you watch Tom Brady. If there's if the other team's out there has a long series, he's out there throwing, making sure he's loosened up. He doesn't just go out onto the field without throwing before he goes out on the field, especially now that he's older.
Yeah.
So it's important, it doesn't matter at what age, that you stay sharp, because at a certain point, you're going to lose some of that. Now, you're going out there, you say, well, I'm going out there to warm up, but it's a little different when you wait 20 minutes as opposed to 7 minutes or 10 minutes. Once you get over 10 minutes, you better be doing something to warm up.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, you know, you got the call to pitch that day or whatever, and now you're going into relief. It doesn't matter. You're going to be pitching in that day. You know, go through what you would recommend in your bullpen, even, Chris. You don't just pick up the ball, like you said, and just start wheeling it.
Let's talk about the bullpen guys. So say you're like a 7th, 8th, 9th inning guy. Well, but the problem is in the bullpen is they're going to say, hey, you got to get up, you got to get ready. Well, what I would tell the guys, I said, look, take the rope in between innings and go on the mound and just do 5 times so that you're starting to get ready. Just do 5 throws on the mound with the rope, you know, and then you'll see how when it's your time to jump up there, boom, you got 4 or 5 throws, you're ready to go. And you didn't have to throw as much to get loose. So you're putting less stress on your arm. And that's the key. You can do more throws, keep yourself more sharper in a game before you go out there. And the whole key is how do I put less stress on my arm and have the most effectiveness?
Wow, that's you. And that is vital for you amateur players out there and coaches out there and parents, because we've seen it forever. And you know, without the rope or whatever, and that, in the fact that the bullpen pitcher, or, you know, the guy that left, like John and you always say, he left his bullets in the bullpen. He didn't transfer them to the game. He didn't save his bullets for the game. And so what we're talking about there is, you know, you're out there and you're just dealing 35, 40, 50 pitches out there in that, and you're not probably even aware of it, but you're trying, it's like you're playing the game in the bullpen instead of where you're supposed to play the game.
Right. And, you know, with guys, you know, as guys get more tired and their shoulder gets, you know, is not quite as good as it should be during the season. If you don't warm up properly, you could get hurt. And the point is if you're warmed up properly, it's easy to stay there. And the less wear and tear you put on your arm, the more longevity you have in your career. The biggest thing I tell the pro guys, I said, look, you don't make your money in the beginning of your career, you make it at the end. But you better prepare yourself in the beginning of your career to get to your end of your career. And so that they make a lot more money at the end than they do in the beginning when you go through free agency. So you better be ready for that. And these are all the little things that, you know, you want to be consistent with. And it makes life a lot easier for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I could have used you 40 years ago, buddy. I wasn't going anywhere, but I could have used you. So no, and we obviously would love to have a little bit of fun and humor with it or whatever, Dirtbags, but it really is, it's so passionate to us in our throwing side of the baseball development that I hope you understand it a little bit better now. I hope you appreciate the fact and the luxury that we have to be able to be connected with a Chris Verna his knowledge base and to be able to bring it to you to educate and empower you as players, parents, and coaches as well moving forward. So, and there's more than just the rope trainer that Chris can do that with. And again, like we said, we'll evolve into that as we move forward and stuff like that. And you guys say, if you have questions for us, send them in to us, and that we'll get them off to Chris. You can send them in to us at Dirtbag Baseball Nation, and we'll definitely get them over to Chris and be able to answer them or get you on the right path, because that's what it's all about, is making this game fun day in, day out, but also healthy. Healthy is going to make it fun, right?
And the big thing I found with the body is you have to do healthy, consistent work. And the consistency factor is really important. But if you're consistently doing the wrong thing, it's bad. So you got to do it the healthy, consistent way. And there's ways to do that, but the body doesn't change unless you do something consistently. And that's why I like the rope trainer off the mound every day, or at least 5 days a week, so you can retrain your body consistently, reiterating what's supposed to be done right. That's what makes a big difference.
Sounds like a plan, brother. Love having you on. Love picking the brain and just getting that insight that you provide day in, day out to us. So appreciate it. Be safe down in Florida. Like I said, have a safe trip to Tahoe with John. Good luck at the golf tournament and everything else that you do with your ventures and your little side project that has been ongoing that we can't let the cat out of the hat, so to speak, yet, but we will be. Good luck with everything you're doing, buddy.
Thanks a bunch, for great being here.
You got it anytime. So Dirtbags, again, you can get the rope trainer right from us at dirtbagbaseballnation.com. Go right there. We've got it on the store. You can get the triple threat, which is the 3 tethers. You can get the dual threat, the single one, depending on age and stuff like that. I still recommend just go ahead and get the triple threat, because at some point in time, you're going to need all 3 ropes to do it. The information, details of the usage and the proper usage for those days that Chris is talking about, it's all there. But now you'll understand why it's there. It's because of Chris's knowledge and being incorporated with the roper trainer, and John's knowledge, and then Preston PV up in Atlanta, Georgia, with his PV baseball, talking about, collecting the data and the stress loads on the arm or whatever. And that's why those information cards are there. They're not just a made up piece of paper or whatever, and a speculation that we all said, hey, let's throw 25 times if you're 10 or whatever, and 50 if you're 20. No, everything is there for a reason and a guideline for you to be safe, healthy, but yet moving forward in what, like Chris just said, healthy development and healthy movement. So until the next episode, it's great having you. We can't do it without you. We do it always for you. Get out there, get up, get after it, and get dirty.